Hi, it's Emily here from the blog and YouTube channel Pineapple Farmhouse, and today I'm going to be taking you through the steps to brew your own kombucha at home. Kombucha is a wonderful drink, not only because it tastes delicious, but because it's also full of other health benefits, such as antioxidants and probiotics. We love drinking kombucha in our family because it is refreshing, bubbly, has a lovely flavour, and it's also a lot cheaper than buying it at the store. In the first stage of kombucha, you're simply fermenting the tea with sugar and your SCOBY, which is a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeasts. It may look ugly, but this little guy here, your SCOBY, is the mastermind and the muscles behind your kombucha. If you'd like to know a little bit more about the science and the health benefits behind kombucha, I'll link some useful websites in the description box below. This kombucha has been brewing for about a week now. It's winter time here at Pineapple Farmhouse, so my kombucha is taking a little bit longer to brew. Now, if it was summertime, this kombucha would be ready and brewed in just a couple of days. You'll know that your kombucha is ready to drink when it has a slightly acidic taste, has lost some of its sweetness, and there should be some bubbles in your brew. Once it's reached that stage, you can drink it straight away, or if you'd like to create different flavor combinations, you can do a secondary ferment, which means decanting your kombucha into glass bottles and adding fruit juice, herbs, anything you like that will fuse into your kombucha, and it will become even more bubbly and delicious. I'm going to show you today how I like to do my secondary ferment. So first of all, I will take off my lid of my kombucha. I've removed my SCOBY. I'm then going to take a glass bottle that has a sealing lid. This needs to be airtight. From there, I'm just going to add my funnel to my bottle and then a piece of muslin or cheesecloth. And this is going to filter out some of the strains of yeast that will come out with my kombucha. When you are straining off your kombucha, it's a good idea to give it a bit of a stir, and that just makes sure that the yeast is evenly distributed through your brew. Now that I've given this brew a really good stir and my bottle is ready, I'm simply going to place it under the tap and let that kombucha run through into the bottle. So now that I've filled my bottle with the kombucha, I'm going to add some juice. This one is V8 breakfast with apple, pineapple, carrot, and orange. You can use any juice you like. As the kombucha will be producing carbon dioxide gas, we do want to leave a little bit of headroom in the bottle. And there you have it. This brew is now ready for secondary ferment. So that's one done, and I'll just get on with my next one. So now I have two lovely bottles of kombucha ready for the secondary fermentation stage. I'm going to pop these into my pantry in a large container in a dark place for about 2 or 3 days before checking them. At that point, I'll just open and release some of the gas and see how much has built up, and that will give me an indication of whether my kombucha is ready to drink. Now, you do have to be careful at this stage because your kombucha is still fermenting and producing gas, which means that pressure will be building up inside your bottles. And if you do happen to leave them too long, it can mean that your bottles will explode. This has never happened to me, so it's not something that I'm worried about, but it is something that you should be aware of and just be careful with when you start getting into brewing your own kombucha at home. So now that I've drained off the kombucha, I'm ready to start a new batch. I have retained about 300 mils of kombucha from my previous batch, and that will serve as my starter liquid. And to that, I will return my SCOBY. With clean hands, I'm just going to separate some of the new SCOBYs that are growing, just because the bigger your SCOBY is, the more you need to feed it. So I've just taken one of the older layers off my SCOBY, and I'll just return my newer, more healthy, robust portion of SCOBY to my vessel. Now with your old SCOBY, there's so many things you can do with it. I've heard of people feeding it to the chickens. You can put it in your compost, or you can give it away to a friend who might like to start their own kombucha. You can also keep a couple of SCOBY set aside in their own liquid in the fridge, just so that you've always got a backup SCOBY if something went wrong with your brew. To make your kombucha, start with 2 litres of freshly boiled water. Filtered, unchlorinated water works best. So if the water is chlorinated in the area that you live, you can simply leave it out on your bench overnight and allow the chlorine to just simply evaporate away. Now to your 2 litres of water, you will add 4 tea bags, organic, and half a cup of organic raw sugar. I like to add my raw sugar first and just allow that to dissolve. Now you don't need to be worried about the sugar that you're putting into your kombucha because you won't be consuming it, your SCOBY will. Just give the sugar and the water a bit of a stir to allow the sugar to dissolve fully into the water, and then add your tea bags. You can use any type of organic tea you like, green or black. However, you can't use fruit teas, so it really does need to be pure tea. I'm just going to let that brew in there for about 4 minutes. Now that it's been 4 minutes, I'm going to simply remove the tea bags from the mixture. And I'm going to cover the mixture with a tea towel. Once this is fully cooled, it can be added into your brewing vessel along with your SCOBY and starter liquid, and then you can just sit easy and wait for your kombucha to brew. I recommend tasting it after about 3 days to see how your kombucha brew is doing. If it tastes really sweet and there's no signs of bubbles, then your kombucha probably needs to brew a little bit longer. However, when your kombucha starts to taste a little bit acidic and has got lots of bubbles coming up from under the SCOBY, you know that your kombucha is ready then to drink or to go through a secondary fermentation phase. Some tips for successfully brewing kombucha at home include using filtered, non-chlorinated water, organic ingredients where possible, and investing in a lovely stoneware kombucha brewing vessel. It's important that light is kept away from your brew. So if you do decide to use a glass vessel, then go ahead and pop that in the pantry or in a cupboard while it's brewing. Another tip for brewing kombucha is to understand that it's not going to taste exactly like the ones at the supermarket. Homebrewed kombucha has a bit of a beery, yeasty, and acidic taste. To create a lovely, refreshing drink, we love to mix our kombucha 50-50 with soda water. So as you can see, when it comes to brewing kombucha at home, you can have lots of fun experimenting and creating different flavor combinations. If you like this video and would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button. We share new videos every week. Thanks for following along.